What's going up, traders? I hope you all are having a fantastic day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the RSI, or the Relative Strength Index. This is a momentum indicator, and it helps traders get a good understanding if the stock's overbought, oversold, and how you guys can find good entries for a stock. So this was developed by a technical analysis. His name is Walsh Wilder. It works by comparing the recent gains and losers over a time period for analyzing speed and changes in price movements where stocks are involved, or securities. You can use this for forex trading. It's just a very good indicator to see if stocks or securities are overbought, oversold, and you can pretty much make a good trades. You can make good trades just by judging this line here. So we have UGAS up here, and how to get this RSI line on the bottom here. It's very, very simple. You can go up to studies, and then you can either click add study or edit. We're going to click on edit, and then we're going to type in RSI, and you want to double click that, and then it pops up here. We're going to delete this one here though, so you don't get two. And then you can go to the settings wheel, and when it loads up, you can customize these however you'd like. If you'd want the overbought to be, red, and then oversold, normally I have it green. You click OK, then you click buy, apply. So now when you click OK, as you guys can see, when the stock is, oversold, that means it's a good time to buy. So when it falls below this 30, these 30, and then there's 70 up here. When the RSI line falls below here, this indicates it's a good time to buy because there is a possible reversal, and this is where multiple traders will enter the stock, because a lot of large traders use the RSI line as good entry and exit points. So if let's say you saw this stock crash to here, and you saw the RSI line turn green, for me that is a good indication for it to go up. So as you guys buy it, and you can hold until the stock goes back up to the resistance level, and that would be around here. And then as you guys can see in the RSI line, it's red, so that means we can either sell it or we can short the position, because that's what multiple traders will end up doing. So it's very, very easy, and it's if a stock is like I said, indicate that it is above that 70 line, that means it is overbought or overvalued. I have a little script off to the side, just kind of pinpoints I want to say. So if it's above this 70 mark, that means it's overbought and it's overvalued. So a lot of traders or investors will sell their shares. So that indicates a good chance that it will fall back down and kind of recuperate until it hits a support level, and then it will carry back up. But you might look here and you might say, well, Carter, this didn't fall below this 30 mark, so would that have been a good time to buy? And that the answer would have been yes, just because you can't just look at this RSI line. You have to look at support and resistance lines from moving average lines, because I do have the SMA line up, and you'd have to look for price, support, and resistance. So what I would do if I saw this, I would say, let's go to a horizontal line here. I would say, okay, there is a really, really strong support at around $55, just because it has tapped it multiple times. It's tapped it once, twice, and 3 times. And the SMA line would be falling down. So you could say, okay, I'm going to wait for a break over the SMA line, because this is oversold, so there is a good chance for it to go up. it broke over the SMA line in some moving average line. So now there's really no other resistance points in the way other than this, $70 mark. And just from there, you could make a significant amount of money. So the RSI lines pretty much just determines the overall strength of the stock, whether it's overbought, oversold, and you can make very good trades from this. If you would have bought this at the bottom of the RSI line, you could have had a percentage of about 26%, which is very, very good, especially for a swing trade because we are on the 180-day mark here. So you would look at this here and you would say, okay, this has good strength for it to fall down. So as the stock pops back up, you'd sell almost probably all your shares at this $70 mark just because it is overbought. And as you guys can see, it was overbought and then it immediately, popped and fell back down. And now it most likely will just continue to fall down. And the next resistant point here would be around that, or next support would be around the $65 mark, just because it has tapped it multiple times and used it as support. But I think we should get a breakthrough and for it to go lower here. That's my prediction for this. So this is how I use the RSI line to make good trades. And you can use the RSI line for any time period. You can do it 4 hours, you can do it 1 minute. So let's pull up the 1 minute chart here. Same thing. It was overbought in pre-market hours, sold off. That's what we got here, sold off. It did almost hit this, resistant level. We got to pop back up, but as you guys can see, it got to pop back up, but it immediately went to this RSI line, and that acts as a resistant point. And it had the SMA line, which is also another resistant point. So there was a lot of downside potential. So it did just continue to fall until it got right around this, right around the 25 in the RSI, which is pretty low, and that would be a good indication to buy. So if you bought here, you would have, made, a couple percentage here. Let's see what it would have been. So it popped back up. You sold on the first pullback. That would have been around 2%, which is fairly decent for a day trade. But you can use this RSI line for any time period. It just gives a good overall strength of the stock. So I would highly recommend using this, whether it's for swing trades or day trades, or even any kind of long-term investment, because you really don't want to buy a stock when it's overvalued. So this is just a good way to see if that stock is overvalued. And because looking at the volume, it's very hard, or looking at any other indicator would be very hard to tell. So this is just one way that a trader can get an edge over other traders and investors. So you guys can always be green, because that's what we want. We like those A quality setups that we get those stocks that pop down here, a little dip, and then we click that buy button, and then they push back up. That's good. Let's see what some of the gappers were here today. So ALT, let's pull this one up. All right, ALT. Let's see what the RSI line has done. All right, so this stock was pretty much pre-market here all day, or not pre-market here. This just consolidated for about an hour, and it looks like it got some news. So it did pop above this, and it popped above that RSI line multiple times. So we did get that breakdown, and it fell through that SMA line. So that pretty much is a good telling tale that the stock is, falling through, because it fell with ease. And then it did find some support here that could hold up the stock. So let's pull up this. So I would look at this and say, okay, so there is a pretty hard, resistant point here. So let's zoom in. All right, so, and it hit a resistant point. It hit the 30 on the RSI line. So, let's see if we can get a little scalp play. But I would honestly, what I would do, but this would be me, I wouldn't hop in to this stock unless it broke over this SMA line, just because there is going to be multiple resistant points here, especially if you have multiple moving average lines up. They will act as resistance. So even though it's on a 30 on the RSI line, it still has a lot more downside potential because it did just pop up. It popped up. Let's see where it did pop up. Almost 30 or 38%. And as you guys can see, once it broke over that SMA line, it just caught momentum and continued to rally up. So what I would do is I would say, okay, let's look for a break over this, and let's wait for a little bit of a resistant breakout over this SMA line. I would have my moving lines up. Oops. So I would say, okay, let's see if a break over 550 would be a good entry. So right around here would be a solid entry, just because it's a $0.50, which is good because those always act as a support or resistant point. And I would set my stop below this SMA line. So as even if you would have bought in here, right here, you would not have been, you would not have sold your shares, just because your risk management and your stop loss would definitely be under this. Because if you bought here, that would be, let's see what that percentage would be, anywhere from 4 to 3%, which is kind of high. But the upward potential, if it popped back up to previous highs in the day, would be, let's see here. So if we bought here, back to high of day, so around 14%, and that's very good risk management skills if you can overall have those trades consistently. And if you cut your losses early, even if you saw this, you could literally wait for a break over that 50 mark, around 60, even 60 would have been fine. So that's how I use the RSI line to find stocks that I see value in. Because if you look down here, this is just a consolidation mark. So if you said, okay, I'm going to wait for this stock to pop up above this RSI line, above this resistance on the RSI line, because it's pretty strong. So if you say I'm going to hop in, at 62, you might be saying, okay, that's pretty high. Excuse me. But with the amount of volume and with the amount of momentum that this stock has, you could definitely make some money with that, because you want stocks that do have momentum and have a pretty strong strength. But I would not buy a stock over the 70 mark, just because it will have a lot more downside potential. So that's how I use the RSI line to find stocks and how I trade smart with it. So that's it, though. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please sure to like, subscribe, comment if you use the RSI line. I would love to hear it. So that's it, though. Take care. Remember to always stay happy, stay positive, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week coming up here. That's start us off green. If you guys want to join the chat room, it'll be down below. 100% free. You guys don't have to pay anything. So that's it, though. Take care.